Hi, my name is Jordan and I'm a car buying expert, helping you making sure that you avoid the 5 most common mistakes that people make when buying a car, whether it be new, leasing, or even used. So let's get into it. Mistake number 1, buying based off of monthly payments. Yeah, dealerships love this one. Let's say you did a standard 5-year finance and the car costs $600 a month and you said you want to be at $500. All they have to do is just extend it, which is perfectly fine. But the problem is, let's say they extend it to 84 and they get to your 500, but in reality it's 450. They can just then add on extra stuff in the back end, like rust protection or extended warranty. So if you're ever buying a car and they say, this already includes extended warranty, that could be a red flag. Ask them to take out that cost and then negotiate on just the outdoor price of just the car. So make sure you see line by line exactly how much the car costs. You want to see the overall cost of the car, the interest rate, the payments, any add-on accessories or just add-ons in general like wheel locks or VIN etching, which I don't recommend. Ask them to take it out. Mistake number 2, not getting pre-approved financing. I see this the most. I'd probably say of all the customers I've ever sold to, maybe about 5% actually come in with a pre-approved finance rate on the overall outdoor cost of the car. So let's go back to that last scenario. You negotiate on the outdoor price of the car, right? But that's just how much the car costs. You didn't even talk about financing. When you go into financing, if you're buying a new car, the manufacturer does have an APR that most people do get approved on, which is great. But it doesn't mean that your bank won't beat it. And then you sign up for a finance rate, let's say at 5.99, and then in reality, your dealership, your bank could have gave you 4.99. So I recommend going in, talking to a bank, talking to their credit union, and seeing if they could beat the rate. Because honestly, that one phone call can save you thousands of dollars itself. But if you have your finance rate and it's, let's say, the most affordable, the dealership is going to do the best to earn that business, regardless of how much incentive there is from another bank giving them a higher rate. So scenario, I'm the business manager and I have 3 options. One is at 5%, they give me $500. Another one, same thing. And the last one, they actually give me 5.5%, but they give me $1,000. I'm probably gonna go with that because that's what's best for me. And people are gonna do selfish things, and that's one of them. So your interest rate, and you got 4% beating out the 5 and the 5.5, the dealership would then contact the bank saying, hey, we need to get at this percentage just so we can earn their business. And then the bank may actually be like, sure, we will do that. Everyone wins. You get a better interest rate and the dealership gets paid and earns your finance business. So try to do the step before you actually go into the dealership if possible, because when you buy the car and sign the papers, it's kind of locked in. You may be able to switch it, but I wouldn't count on that. Always try to beat the interest rate that the dealership is going to give you. If you don't know what the interest rate is, go on the manufacturer's website and you can see it there for a good rough estimate. Of course, this can apply based off of your credit score, but if you have a good credit score, you're probably gonna get approved for this. If you don't have so much good credit, this step actually may be even more important. So make sure you don't skip on finance. It could really hurt you in the long run. Mistake number 3, skipping the research and pricing comparisons. Now, you're doing a great job, you're watching this video, you're trying to see all the common mistakes, but we need to dig a little deeper. And deeper, I mean by finding about 2 to 3 cars you think that suit you. Now, the next step I recommend is actually going to the manufacturer's website, looking at price of the car, what it says online, the MSRP. Now that you know the MSRP, there's actually financial calculators on pretty much every manufacturer's website. You can plug in your numbers and see exactly where you should be. Now, of course, things may change at the dealership. They may have an additional add-on, like it may have tint or VIN etching. You have to decide for your own if you think that's worth it. But at least you have a great starting place to go to. That's one of the biggest things I recommend. Go to the manufacturer's website, play around with the numbers. I'm actually gonna have a video coming out pretty soon going over how to know if you actually can afford a car, and that'll break down the price comparison in more details. But for the research side of things, you're doing a good job. Continue going on YouTube videos, browsing the web, see which features you like. But I also recommend diving deep into the trim models, especially for used car. In the used car dealership industry, nothing is ever the same. Like never really apples comparison. Even if the car's the same year, make, and model, that's great, but one may have higher kilometers than another. One may have a different trim. One may be a base model. One may be the highly spec model. This is also going to include for luxury cars as well, where there's going to be different options. But let's use an easy comparison for, let's say, a Corolla LE 2020, for example. Base model doesn't have heated seats, doesn't have a sunroof, doesn't have leather, Those could be important things. So if you see that base model selling for, let's say, 20K, and you see the LE upgrade or XLE, and it's 21,000. Well, in the same kilometers, I would just go for the extra 1,000. That's just me though. But you have to make a decision which one is actually better, because that $1,000 is gonna give you a lot more features than just the base model. Now, I do recommend doing your research before walking in, because even myself, if I was looking for a new car and I was pretty much ready to buy one and I was driving it, I think I'd buy that car regardless of what features it has, because I just need that transportation. And just remember, if you do this research and then everything lines up with the test drive, that's probably a car that you should buy.
Mistake number 4, not getting your car inspected. Now, this one's not going to apply for new cars, obviously. When you get your car, it can have anywhere from 10 kilometers to 100, just depending on dealership moving around and being test driven. But for the new car side, this one's going to be extremely important. If you skip the part of getting the car that you want inspected by a mechanic, I would actually consider that gambling. You know, it's actually a huge gamble, buying a car and then not having it inspected by someone that knows cars inside out. Me, I can't tell you out the car every mechanical piece in the transmission and the engine. I can tell you what they are, but I can't tell you how they work. And that's where mechanics come in. So before you go out and buy your car that looks absolutely perfect, even if it's CPO'd, certified pre-owned, which does have a 200-point inspection by mechanics, I would still consider getting it checked out by a mechanic at that case. If your car is already not a certified pre-owned car, which means it's like 2-3 years old and they basically treat it as a new car, I'll still get it inspected by a mechanic. Just because even though it is a 200-point check, which is great, honestly, the mechanics at the dealership, they're gonna do not the bare minimum, but they're just gonna check off boxes saying that yes, the tires are good, the brakes are good, but you have no idea how that car was driven. For example, let's say we have 2 identical cars, make, model, trim, kilometers, color, everything. Car A was driven by a nice university professor, happened to be the situation I bought my car, and they drove it to the beach, they drove it back, they treated it as like a summer car, and then another car for winter. So I'm like, oh wow, that's a really good kept car and it had service history. That's the most I'm gonna know about the car as a consumer. Second car, you don't know who owned it, there's no evidence, any type of service records on the Carfax. In reality, that could have been driven by someone that just started to learn how to drive, and no disrespect to new drivers, they might not know stuff like when you change gears, make sure your car's in a full stop, right? They might not know when you're parked beside a curb, you have to drive straight and then turn instead of just turning. They actually may have gotten in an accident, not put it on insurance, and did it through their own body shop, and now your car has actually technically been an accident, but you don't know. So these are stuff that your mechanic actually could tell you, saying, hey, the suspension's actually kind of a little bit messed up. You may want to think about that. Oh, hey, actually, this was actually a little bit of a fender bender. There's a little love tap, a little scratch up the front, but they fixed it. You can see here's how they fixed it and repainted it. Now, a lot of time when I suggest this, people often say they don't have mechanics that they can trust. I actually recommend going on forums, talk to people you know, and if that means you have to drive a little bit to go talk to a mechanic, great. Like, that's just what you have to do when you buy a car that costs thousands of dollars. If that's not an option, no one can recommend one. Honestly, just go on Google and search one that has high reviews, or maybe one that's local. Talk to them in person first. Tell them the situation. See how they vibe. If they're good people, they're probably going to do a good job for you. But I just want to emphasize, the dealership inspection is usually not good enough. They're going to do what's best for the dealership, and that means selling and moving the car. The dealerships are usually fine about 90% of the time. Fine if you've taken a car off the lot to get inspected by their own mechanic. And sometimes you can bring the mechanic to their own shop and bring up on the hoist and look at the car themselves. So you do have several options. I just always recommend always getting the car inspected, because the Carfax doesn't tell you enough. It doesn't tell you the history, how it's driven, and the current condition it is in. That's actually a great segue into my next point, which is mistake number 5, rushing the deal and letting pressure win. This is probably the biggest mistake you could possibly make, because dealerships want to make sure you buy the car. Once you leave the dealership, they're like, the chances of you coming back and buying a car does drop off a cliff quite a bit. So they're gonna do everything they can to make sure you buy that car today, which is they're gonna use tactics like, this deal's only good for today, or someone else is coming to see the car, price is going up tomorrow. And these could be real. This is real. That's all happened before. I've had a deal that's only good for that one day, just because we had to hit a certain amount of cars sold for the month, and the next month we're not incentivized to sell that car at that discount. Someone else is coming to see the car. That is true. Like, we may have that one particular new car or used car, and it could be a hot commodity, a lot of people inquiring about it, and yeah, it could actually get sold, and that is true. A price is going up tomorrow. I have seen interest rates actually increase overnight, because the Bank of Canada or the federal bank, they do increase the rates, and that means the banks also have to increase their rates too. So that can really affect financing. But all of these said, even if all 3 happen, I wouldn't rush buy a car, because if you end up with a $1,000 piece of metal that you don't feel happy about, who cares if you got the deal of a lifetime, right? So always remember, you're in control of the deal. If something doesn't feel right, if they're putting pressure tactics all over you, you can just walk away. You can simply just say, thank you, I really appreciate your time, but I need to think about it. Car salesman's probably going to say something like I did, which would be, hey, when people say they need more time, it just usually means they need more information to process it. So is there anything I can do to provide, or what information can I provide to you to help you make a decision today? And that's a great way of overcoming the objection. But if you truly just want more time and you feel like you have all the details, you just can just repeat what you said, like, I really need to go home and think about it. Or you can say, there's not enough details, I just want to make sure that I've looked at all my options. You can use variations just to say that you want to go home. Never feel pressured. The sales manager may come in and try to ask you to buy the car, and it may say give you an extra few $100s off. But if they're willing to give you a few $100s off today and then tomorrow you come back and it's gone, at least you know that you made the right decision. I always tell people, don't sweat about a few $100s on the car, right? In Canada, at least in Ontario, all loans are open loans, meaning that you can pay it off without any penalty. So if that means the car increased by like $300, after like 5 years, is $300 really gonna make a difference? No, it's probably gonna be a few dollars per month if you end up doing a monthly payment. And honestly, once the dealer gives you that number, if you come back, most of the time they're gonna agree on it. So you can get rock bottom pricing and then come back to them. So big advice, slow down. Review the contract line by line, every fee, every breakdown, ask some questions, and that could provide you with more confidence in buying your car and build a little bit of a relationship with your salesman, knowing that he actually knows what the contract says. If he doesn't, ask for someone that does. Not replace his car salesman, but maybe ask him to bring his manager to break it line by line. The deal will probably still be available for tomorrow. Don't feel pressure to buy today. And don't forget, the moment you're willing to walk away is the moment you gain control in the deal. So buying a car doesn't have to be stressful anymore. If you avoid these top 5 mistakes, I can't see why you can't walk in with confidence, walking knowing exactly what you want, and actually stay in control of the whole deal. I've helped 100 people buy cars. If you need any help, I have free consultation down below in the description. I'll be more than happy to help anyone with buying a car, new or used. Feel free to let everyone know in the comments your experience with car dealerships, positive or negative. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.